Ford's 2-litre TDCi engine accounts for the vast majority of UK sales of its mid-size SUV, the Kuga. So for 2015, it's decided to add a whole host of revisions to give it a bit of an upgrade, including 178 brake horsepower, 295 pounds-foot of torque, and it emits 135 grams per kilometre of CO2. So roughly speaking, performance is up about 10% year on year, and yet it's still dropped a vehicle excise duty group into Group E, which is great news for the consumer. We're here in northern Italy to test this top spec Titanium X Sport with the 2-litre diesel in manual, and it is by far and away the most standout version in the range, especially if you spec this new Tiger Metallic. Other additions to this trim level include huge 19-inch alloy wheels. It's on winters for today. You've got body-coloured wheel arches, body-coloured sill extensions, though be warned, they don't half pick up quite a bit of mess in that bottom sill, so you'll be cleaning it a fair amount. You've got rear privacy glass for the kids, a rear spoiler, and this silver coated rear diffuser. This test car also specs Ford's hands-free tailgate system, and this is really effective because if you've got obviously a handful of luggage or shopping or whatever, this helps you just get into the boot, and 1 in 3 Kuga customers actually specs this, which is a nice little touch. So are those performance differences noticeable? Well, the torque certainly is. There used to be quite flat, this engine, just below 1500 RPM, just because you were waiting for the boost to come in. But now, I think the band has reduced slightly, and the in-gear acceleration is obviously vast improvement. The performance isn't anything to write home about. 0 to 60 miles an hour takes 9.2 seconds, but performance isn't the deciding factor here. Comfort is, and on that front, the Kuga does very well. The suspension is incredibly compliant. It's kind of like a middle road. It gives you enough sort of feedback and direct response through the wheel when you're going through a sweeping turn, but it also has a nice compliancy and it stops you rolling around, so it's not soft enough to make you feel a little bit car sick. So it's really wonderfully balanced. Two things I'm not so keen on: the fact that you still only can't get it as a 7-seater, which is a bit frustrating because the 2-litre diesel is now more than up for the task. And also, if you have a look at this dashboard, whereas a lot of Ford's competitors are now going for a cool digital infotainment system with minimal buttons and a touchscreen interface, Ford is still persevering with Sony and this sort of panoply of buttons. It's an overload of buttons, and I think even when you're on your own in the car, it's enough of a hassle to work out what every button does. But when you've got a car full of kids, it'd be a right mission. That all said, I think this is a really credible mid-size SUV, and it's one that we could see that could fit into family life very easily.